And so we kind of were like, hey, what if we started our own independent online school,
Right.
which seemed like the craziest thing in the entire world, but that's exactly what we did. Yeah.
So 12 years. So what's the story? What's
Of
the Kleos story? Day one to now.
Well, okay, number one, my own child. I think that idea that necessity is the mother of all invention. My oldest son is on the autism spectrum. He's almost 22 now, but school was a struggle
Yeah.
from day one. Like he loved preschool because you could play. And then as soon as it was kindergarten and you had to sit at a desk for even any amount of time and write, your name on everything, he was just annoyed by the whole process. And so we knew that something was going on with him. It took a while for a diagnosis to come, probably because, 20 some years ago it was
Right.
harder to diagnose. And he is incredibly intellectually gifted, but it's all the other stuff that's a deficit. Like the social emotional development for him is the challenge.
Right.
So he wasn't immediately identified as a kiddo who might have a challenge.
Right.
But we knew from a really early age that he was struggling. And so we pulled him from school at the end of grade one and reluctantly homeschooled him, which is proper homeschooling where you're just like a parent at home doing
Yeah.
the teaching
Yeah.
and there's no support. And then the opportunity to be part of an online distributed learning is the technical term for it in BC
Right.
came along, and my Ethan's dad was working for an independent school at the time, and so we kind of were like, hey, what if we started our own independent online school,
Right.
which seemed like the craziest thing in the entire world, but that's exactly what we did. We started Kleos because we weren't finding a place for him to fit that also fit us. Like we weren't homeschoolers. We weren't like those homespun people who wanted to like do all of the things for their kid. We
Yeah.
wanted teacher guidance and accountability to the Ministry of Education without compromising his education or having all the pressure be on us. So that's kind of where Kleos kind of grew out of
Right.
this idea that there could be a hybrid of something between, brick and mortar proper and then like the old school homeschooling model, which didn't fit for us at all. So that's, yeah, it was like a crazy thing that we just did. And here we are. I was actually I was a parent, I was a volunteer sort of parent liaison in the beginning.
Yep.
And then I was teaching for a year and a bit, kind of art and drama in a halftime program. And then, like I think my second or third year in, maybe it was like, oh hey, do you want to run the special ed department? And I was like, like me? And they were like, well, you have the most experience. And I did because I had a child on the spectrum. I was
Right.
that for several years. And then 6 years ago, 6-ish, 7-ish years ago, the the head of school was like, hey, I think it's time for you to take the reins. And I was like, I was like,
Right. Looking around.
yeah, are you sure? Are you talking to me? And so, yeah, I got thrown in the deep end every time. That's kind of my story with Kleos is like, jump into the deep end. The
Yeah.
water's fine. You'll figure out how to swim. And yeah.